Hi, I'm Nyree and I have 7 children of my own. I've also got grandchildren and I've worked in early years. Today I'm going to give you tips to help you with your picky eaters, fussy eaters, poor eaters, whatever you want to call them. And I think you will have fast success if you follow these things through. So first of all, don't make the portions too big. Try to keep the portions small for the child so that they can actually have the feeling of success when they get through that portion. Really look carefully about how much you're piling on the plate, because over-facing a child will really put them off from the very beginning. My second point for you is don't give snacks too close to meal times. If you really want to give a snack, keep it small, but I would say a couple of hours really, you need to leave it clear before they actually have their lunch or dinner, whatever meal it is that you're serving. A small appetite child will really struggle to feel hungry again by the time you're serving a meal. And that goes for drinks as well. Maybe you could give a drink a bit closer to a meal, but again, drinks can fill children up really easily. So keep them as far away from the meal times as you possibly can. My third point for you is if you get part of the way through the meal and they don't want to eat it anymore, or they don't want to eat it at all, I would give it a little bit of time, leave it on the table, but I wouldn't really make any attention about it. You can ask them to eat it obviously and say why you want them to eat it, but if they're going to refuse and they're the sort of child that gives it quite quickly and causes a bit of a fuss around the table, tries to put in a lot of attention, I would just say okay and just take it away, put it to the side. I wouldn't throw it away, and then I wouldn't follow through with anything. And if they then leave the table, if you eat at a table, I would just let that go. Obviously you don't want them to be disruptive, but I would just let it go. And following on from that, my next point would be, which I think is point number 4, is I would kind of praise, if you have other children or even adults, I'd praise them for eating their dinner and make a big fuss about the fact that they might be trying new things, and be positive about those who are eating well and positive about the food that you've served. And on the table, what I think works quite well is you can dish up the main meal. So say for example you're having a cottage or a shepherd's pie, chili con carne, spaghetti bolognese, think about all those family meals. You can serve that, and then you can have sharing bowls on the table which have got the more, shall we say, difficult foods for children to accept often. So the vegetables and the things that are maybe less popular about the meal, they could be in sharing bowls, and that's when you can praise your other children if they're trying those things and the adults around the table. My next point is don't appease the picky eater, and it could be that you're well ingrained with doing this already, but offer a wide range of foods. Do not keep going back to the same stuff that you know they'll only eat, because that will just narrow it down and you'll have less and less and less meals that you can offer. And as part of this, a celebration of food, try to get your child involved in cooking and preparing food, even if that's just baking cakes. Help them to celebrate food and to realise that food is a positive experience. For some children, food becomes quite negative, especially if they have a poor appetite and they associate that with being told off, and they just don't want to get involved in the whole culture of food. And it's really important that you try to encourage them to enjoy the whole eating and food experience. So my next tip for you is around the drinks as well. It's important obviously that children drink, and you don't want to be feeling that they're getting a dry throat when they're eating, but I do think that drinks fill up children really quickly. So if you can, hold back the drink with the meal until at least halfway through, or maybe toward the end, so that they're not filling up their tummies with drinks as they're trying to digest the food as well. And my last point for you, which is probably the most controversial one, around desserts. We call it puddings in the UK, sweets, whatever you want to call it. Now, you may be a family that offer that, or you may be a family that don't offer that. So if you're a family that offers some sort of dessert, if you see the child is trying with their meal and they've actually done quite well as far as how you know your child would do, then I would offer them that sweet and allow them to have it, because there's a big difference between forcing the issue to get them through a meal, and actually they may actually be becoming more full And I think that the dessert or the sweet can be a reward if you are satisfied that they have tried enough of that meal. So for them, again, it's a success, but the success isn't about eating every single little thing on the plate. So those are my tips for you, and I think if you follow them through, depending on how deep rooted the situation is with your child, it might have been going on for years, I think within a few months you will see improvements and you will see them start to eat better. And obviously you need to be consistent with this in your house and wherever else you go, and whoever else has them as well, they need to follow through the same rules. Channel is normally an adoption channel, so we're dealing obviously with issues with children all the time, especially with eating. But if you're interested in adoption or you're interested in how to help young children, then please subscribe and I'll see you on my channel. Thank you.